Hey, this is Gian and welcome to the What Is series, where we talk about a variety of games both launched and unlaunched in an objective manner. Today's topic of interest is Vindictus. So, without further ado, let's let that B-roll roll. So, what is Vindictus? Well, it's described as an action MMORPG game created by DevCat, an internal studio of Korean free-to-play game publisher Nexon. It also states that Vindictus is a prequel to the MMORPG Mabinogi, and is known as Mabinogi Heroes in Asia. Now that I got past that personal tongue twister, what really is Vindictus? As stated in the description on Google for what Vindictus is, it is a hack and slash MMORPG, third person in a fantasy setting. We can easily break down the game into at least 5 categories: character creation, combat, life content, story, and monetization. Starting off with character creation. The character creation in this game is not exactly as in-depth as most MMOs. You do get a couple of sliders to change your body, and you get, I think, 5 hairstyles or something like that to start off with, which is not a lot. You're gonna look a lot like other people until you spend some real money. Unlike your typical MMORPG where you get to simply just go right into character creation, you're gonna be presented with an option to pick a character specifically. These 22 options are all characters with different names and different backstories, allowing you to have a different slice of combat, with some having a secondary weapon instead of just a primary main weapon. So in the end, even if the character creation is not exactly the best, at least you do get quite a bit of variety within your playstyle. Now, onto the combat section. Combat itself is honestly a very fast-paced combat scene, unlike MMORPGs such as Terra or, Neverwinter, where the combat, while it is action-based, or was action-based, it is a little bit slower and a little bit more hefty. This game itself, you can feel the weight of the heavy-weighted characters, you can feel the speed of the light-weighted characters. It's all right in the palm of your hands. Quite literally too, since you can also play with mouse and keyboard or a controller, though I've never actually got the controller hooked up myself and have tried it, so can't exactly confirm that. Once you have your character made and you've started doing the tutorial and the prologue a little bit, you'll be able to kind of understand and learn each character's skills. Some characters have active skills, some have passive skills. These skills allow you to kind of create and build what kind of path that you want to take. And quite literally too, eventually you'll take a quest that allows you to pick the Dark Knight path or the Paladin path. Cool, so you got your character build all built up. What is the combat really like? While dodging, attacking, it's a very linear system. Nothing quite special beyond that. Doesn't have any groundbreaking, revolutions, except for the fact that the combat itself is super smooth. It's probably, in my opinion, one of the smoothest combats I've ever had in any MMORPG. Even better than Black Desert Online. Though that being said, Black Desert Online has its own style. It's very hard to compare the two. For being a game with an extremely smooth combat system, luckily you don't exactly need to have that deep depth skill-based system. Fortunately for you, if you're someone that prefers something that's a little more complex, there are characters in there that allow you to have that combat style. A good example of this would be my character Lan, who I started with in the closed beta, a simple left-click whirlwind machine. Though he does have a little bit more depth, I just found it easier to oftentimes just dash around and slice people up. Versus a character like Ira, who has twin guns, who is more focused on spatial awareness, having this extra combo where if you, left click, right click, it changes up the combo a little bit, or if you left click, right click, it allows you to at least change up that combo a little bit further. So sure, you got your different types of characters, but what about like the actual missions? Yeah, I've mentioned before that we got the boss rushes and your dungeon crawls. You also have raids and PvP. However, sometimes I find this game's a little bit more of a solo player game because of the lack of player base. Even right now as we speak, Steam Charts states that maybe an average of 200 players with a peak of 313. It's not that great. So you might as well grab yourself a friend and enjoy the game together, especially when they have a system known as friendship skills. Unfortunately, I'm a solo player, so I've never got to experience that myself. So let's go on ahead and dip our toes into that life content section to see what that's all about. Quite honestly, there's not a lot of life content compared to other MMORPGs. There's an opportunity to sit in a spa and put soap in it and show off your undergarments if that's what you're into, or at least get yourself a guild house and have some fun designing that to an extent. I mean, even just sitting in town and listening to some of the banger tracks that the towns have, or even the inn music, it's well worth listening to at least. Throughout maybe my 500 hours, 600 hours of playtime on the game, I haven't really found anything to do past combat other than fishing. And don't get me wrong, the fishing's actually kind of fun, like really fun. And before I go off on a tangent about fishing, we might as well start the story section. Now personally, like I stated before, most MMORPG players don't care about the story, though sometimes I kind of pay attention. And I'd like to think I paid enough attention to this one since it was the prologue to Mabinogi, one of my favorite MMORPGs when I was a kid. The story itself is season-based as well as episodic within those seasons. And each season kind of has its own story. For example, like Season 1, you start off as a mercenary. Season 2, you became a pirate. Season 3, you became a hero. And the story does not hold no punches. They sometimes will just clock you right in the face. Let's give a moment of silence for Ellis. In the end, the story is honestly not that bad if you can get past some of the awkward moments. And with our final category, probably one of the most important to most MMORPG players, the monetization of the game. Looking through the cash shop known as the Supply Depot allows you to buy things like potions that can heal you or even give you EXP boosts. And if you're wanting something a little bit cooler than potions, you can buy pets, cosmetics, and even emotes for your character. Although, if you're trying to buy cosmetics, good luck, because it is a gachapon-based system. And if you're anything like me, you could be really dumb and it's very hard to navigate the Supply Depot, making it a little bit difficult to buy something that you might want. Yeah, so there's a gachapon system. Luckily, there's also your salon room. This allows you to at least change your hair, your body shape, your eye colors, and stuff like that for a price. It also allows you to, preview costumes and see what kind of stuff that you'd want, and even buy some outfits that aren't gachapon based. Thankfully, the in-game cosmetics are honestly not that bad, the ones that you can earn from fighting or even buy on the marketplace. If you're wanting the cosmetics that are purchased, it gives you a little bit more of a loot experience if you're a female character, and just, a pretty okay one if you're a guy character. And as they say, MMORPG stands for Most Men Online Roleplay Girls. But all jokes aside, it's honestly not that bad. In the end, the game itself for me is something that I've played since the closed beta. It's a game that kind of lives near and dear to my heart. So if you're looking for a game that you can play solo and just mindlessly grind and fight and dodge and do all the fun stuff, this game might be for you. If you're a person that's looking for massive, group play and you don't have anyone specific to play this game style with you, maybe not, because there's honestly, like I said, a lack of people within it. But if you grab a friend, the gameplay, even to the end game, is honestly extremely fun and offers a really good challenge. Something I was honestly not expecting as I got picked up and thrown off many different objects. And when it comes to games, and just like my videos, one person's enjoyment is another person's dislike. So, if you liked what you saw, feel free to drop a like or comment, perhaps even any games you wish to see within the channel, let me know. Otherwise, if you disliked it, feel free to hit that thumbs down. And with that being said, this is what is Vindictus. My name is Gian, and I'm signing out. Cheers.